Hello, I'm Chief Constable Kier Pritchard of Wiltshire Police. So at midnight on Wednesday this week, England returned to our second national lockdown, where we are once again urged to stay at home in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Now, I recognise that the news of this will have had significant implications on many of you. It will have an impact on our personal lives and our family lives, and all of us will experience that. But I do recognise, looking at the national evidence that's come from both the Chief Medical and Chief Scientific Officer, that we can all see the map changing colour quite dramatically as we see a significant increase in the number of cases across the country, here also in the southwest, where there is particular pressure on the hospital bed capacity, and of course locally in Wiltshire and Swindon, where we have also seen a rapid increase in the number of cases in the last week, 2 and 3 weeks. So the option of doing nothing is clearly not the preferred option here, and therefore we now find ourselves in this period of another lockdown for 4 weeks through until Wednesday the 2nd of December 2020. So as the Chief Constable, as the chair of the local resilience forum that brings all of our partners together from health, from the emergency services and our local authorities, our message, which I'm conveying to you today, is that we must stay at home unless there is a reasonable excuse to leave. Now, you can look at what those reasonable excuses are on the gov.uk website, but broadly it allows us to take exercise and to meet one other person in a public space for recreational purposes. So we can take exercise alone or with other members of our household, or as I say, you can meet one other person to participate within that. We can leave for work purposes if we can't work at home, for food, for medical supplies, and for other exemptions that you will see contained. Interestingly, this time round, certain businesses will be required to remain open, and of course schools and colleges remain open for the health and the well-being and the educational benefits that brings to many of our children. So the implications are slightly different, but my key advice is let's only travel when absolutely necessary. Let's stay at home and do our best to bring that reproduction level down, the R factor, to avoid the unnecessary spread of COVID between ourselves into our community, which can have a dramatic impact on some of the more vulnerable members of our community, and of course can place even more pressure on an already pressurised NHS system, which is normal for the winter months that we are about to go through. So I know it's going to be difficult. I know that we're all going to work through this. The role that policing will take is we'll continue to police with consent. That's the policing style that I've always outlined to you. The majority of the public have been hugely supportive of the way that we police, but also of complying with the rules and the regulations. So thank you for that. There are, however, a minority that I'm sure will continue to try to flout the rules and breach these. So my advice to you will be, if you are intending to establish parties, large gatherings, policing will be there, and we will be ready to provide fixed penalty notices to the organisers and fixed penalty notices to those in attendance. It is vital that we now follow these rules carefully, and my advice to you all is let's play our part in this. We'll continue to explain, to engage and to encourage before we move into the enforcement area, but for those that are determined to break the rules, we will more rapidly move into the enforcement space, and we will not waste time in repeatedly explaining and encouraging people to comply. So please, I know it's going to be a challenging 4 weeks. Let's hope that we can bring that reproduction round by the collective social responsibility that I'm asking from all of us today. Let's hope that at the end of that period we can then return back to the tiered system, which will bring us back to a position where we may be able to see loved ones into the Christmas period as we go into mid to late December. So I know I can rely upon you. As I say, we're all trying to make sense of this, and we will police in the very best way alongside our partners in Wiltshire and in Swindon. Thanks very much.